Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday carry people. It's your boy Big Canucker here, and today I want to have a look at a knife that, for whatever reason, hasn't found its way into my everyday carry rotation as much as I imagined it would have when I was interested in this knife. And we're talking about the Yojimbo 2. This is a Michael Janich designed knife, designed after his original kind of Yojimbo 1, which was a Wharncliffe kind of personal defense blade. And it really brought the Wharncliffe idea into the self-defense or personal defense realm. And Yojimbo is actually a Japanese word meaning bodyguard or bouncer, but I think they actually meant it as the bodyguard. Now, this knife it's you know what? It's just, I don't understand why this hasn't found its way into my everyday carry rotation a lot more than I think it should, because it is an extremely capable everyday carry blade, not just a blade for self-defense. I never think of my knives as self-defense knives whatsoever. I have never purchased a knife or looked at a knife and wondered what that would do to a person. You know, I may look at a knife and wonder what it's going to do to a cardboard box or a zip tie or some tape, but that's just not my style. But I was really intrigued by this Wharncliffe design and the fact that it had wonderful ergonomics, and it does. I mean, it gives you a great positive lock in your hand, and I think it's an absolutely capable EDC blade. So now let's go over some technical specs here real quick here. All right, your overall length is 7.55 inches. Your closed length is sub 5 inches at 4.51 inches. Your blade thickness is 4 millimeters, so you do got some nice thick blade stock, and it does taper really nicely into a fine tip, so you've got really fantastic penetration with this knife. I'm a little worried though what, you know, at this blades kind of this blade tip's strength. Certainly not a prying knife, that's for sure. It's definitely a cutting knife. This is not a prying knife, even though no knives are supposed to be prying tools. Sometimes we get lazy and we do try to pry with them. This is not one it's not one you want to pry with. All right, you've got tip up or tip down, or left or right carry. So it is truly a four-way positionable clip with your Spyderco spoon clip, which is a great clip. Your braid length is 3.11 inches, so sub 3.5 inches. Your edge length is 2.95, so you're not losing any real cutting length. You've got pretty much all cutting ability. Your handles are a G10 with a compression lock, so your fingers are never in the way of the blade when you're opening or closing this. As well as you've also got nested steel liners in here that are skeletonized, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but there is, with a completely flow-through design, so it is able to be cleaned by simply just blowing it out. So your steel here is an S30V, which is the seems to be the kind of standard steel that Spyderco has been using for the last little bit, and really a good steel all the way around. Good edge holding ability, good toughness, good stain resistance, and not super expensive. And now you've also got here a hollow grind, so it's kind of a tall hollow grind blade type. So now what that's going to do for you, it's going to give you a good cutting ability, but you're also going to be able to have some good overall blade strength with your 4 millimeter thick steel that runs pretty much the length, or 75% of the length of the blade. Kind of a light too as well at 4 ounces, so not super heavy. I wouldn't think of this knife as only being a 4-ounce knife. To me, it seems like it's a little heavier knife when I put it in hand. Some knives seem to carry a little bit heavy, and this seems to be one, even though it's strange. I mean, I take a knife that's probably 4.7 ounces and put it in hand, and it seems lighter. For some reason, this one seems to carry a little bit heavy. Now, I have EDC this blade, especially when I first got it, and I found that it was a really capable EDC knife. This here has got really fantastic penetration with the tip on it. You know, it cuts really well when you're actually bearing down on something, especially, you know, opening up a box. This tip is extremely, you know, capable. It's very, very comfortable. I never noticed any really super terrible hot spots on it. But I suppose one of the big knocks on this knife that I wish it had is I wish it had a lanyard. I'm going to do some size comparison here real quick. Of course, we've got the Spyderco 2, paramilitary 2, with the lanyard on it. As you see, I have a lanyard hole. And then you've got a little bit of a smaller knife, the Dragonfly 2. So this gives you an idea. It's kind of right between the two. And this one here has a lanyard, which I will be putting a lanyard on very, very shortly because, like I said, I'm an extreme lanyard guy. I love the way that it allows you to kind of pull it out of your pocket with the lanyard. I grab it with my fingers all the time to pull my knife out, and this doesn't have it. So that could be why this doesn't get as much everyday carry as I think it should, because it is a really, really capable knife. Now, I guess here, bringing just a quick bit here too as well, bringing in the Wharncliffe design into self-defense industry, what they've gone and done is they've decided, not decided, but through trial and error and testing, when you actually penetrate somebody with a Wharncliffe blade, you start to stab in, this Wharncliffe edge pushes the knife down and it creates a really, really large jagged hole that'll stop a person very, very quickly. Where you've got this particular knife here, when it penetrates somebody, it opens up and then the wound will close itself quite quickly, where this one will open up and it just seems to tear. So I think that is kind of the thinking behind it. Not 100% sure because I don't look at these knives to look at hurting anybody. They're mostly, my knives are all designed to do some work. So that's probably why I don't carry this as much as I should, based on the fact that it does need a lanyard hole. Biggest knock on it. So now, would I recommend this? You know what? This knife was a gift from my kids as a Christmas present. And it was something that I asked them to get me. Would I get this again? I don't think I would, based on the fact that I haven't carried it as much as I should. So that's what I recommend it. For self-defense, I would. It's a very capable self-defense. If that's what you're after, definitely get it. But if you're looking for an everyday carry piece, paramilitary 2 is such a way better option than this Yojimbo 2. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this knife a 5, based on the fact that you don't have a lanyard hole. It seems to be singly designed, and I'm a little concerned about this tip strength. Sometimes when you drop something, if they're blade heavy or it doesn't matter, they'll land on the, that's my big concern too. If it lands on the top and it chips this away, it's a real pain to kind of get that back. So 5 out of 10 for me. If you want to put one in your collection, by all means, go ahead. I just think that you could probably take a little bit of this money and put it towards maybe a Capara or a Spidey Chef or one of those particular knives that are just an absolutely fantastic everyday carry knife. All right. So thank you very much for stopping by and having a look at what I have to say. And please, please help spread my voice by liking and subscribing this video. Please stay safe with everything that's out there. Right now going on with the COVID-19, please, please stay safe. You know, self-isolate. Listen to the experts out there. We want you to be safe and have your family safe too as well. And please keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.